Just before we draw our second part for the cross brace, we just need to go back and edit this one ever so slightly. To show you how to edit, you move your mouse over to the left hand side of your screen and you pick the last extrusion. This is extrude 9. When I hover over it, as you can see on your screen, the part that you've just done has an orange outline. I'm going to right mouse click and choose edit. So you may remember I said type in 3.6. The actual measurement is 3.5. So Onshape always allows you to go back and edit or change, modify a dimension. So change 3.6, 3.5. And click the green tick. You won't see much change because it's 1/10 of a millimeter change. We also just need to go back and make sure that all measurements are correct. So not only can we edit an extrusion, we can also edit a sketch. Here is the sketch that made the extrusion, sketch 9 for extrude 9. So let's right mouse click and choose edit of the sketch. Let's put it back onto the front datum and let's zoom out, zoom in. Let's try and get it as big as possible on your screen. So there were 2 dimensions that we didn't add. We didn't add the height of these and the height of these because they're actually different heights. So in order to do that, we click on the dimension tool. I select the top of this one. I select this line here. So let's do that with the dimension tool. Dimension, dimension. And this needs to be changed to 6. Like so. Let's do the same on the other side. Again, change that to be 6. The bottom dimension, i.e. this one and this one of this bottom rectangle, needs to be 4. So let's change to be 4. Let's do the same on this side. 4. Okay. Then the last one that we need to look at changing is the depth of our center one here. Again, one that we didn't dimension. So let's do that from selecting this line here and this line here. And let's place that dimension like so. We want to change that to be 4. So you can see that we've got quite deep cut. We need to check whether that dimension is correct, but we can do that at a later time because we can always come back and edit sketches, which is an important thing that we do. So let's accept that sketch for the moment. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom and turn my work around like so. Zoom out so I can select the front plane. We're now ready to add the second cross brace. To do that, let's click on the sketch tool. Let's select the front plane. There it is, front plane. Let's go into 2D. Let's zoom out and let's zoom in over here. We'll select the rectangle tool and we're going to do similar sketching to the first time. So we're going to sketch our initial rectangle. We're going to press D for dimension and we're going to change our measurements to be 68 by 12. We're going to then draw a second rectangle like we did last time, making sure we don't go down to the middle point. Here's our second rectangle. We're going to press the dimension tool. We want the dimension, the width of this one to be 52, and we want the distance from one side here to the other side there to be 8 millimeters. Just like last time. We can use the trim tool and we can pick the top, sides and the straight line. And just to make sure that nothing else goes wrong with our sketch, I'm going to redimension the total width. If you notice, the total width has disappeared. So I'm going to select this side and just place that measurement, which will ensure that everything is controlled. We're now going to add a series of other rectangles. So this time slightly different in that we're going to add 3 on the top and we're going to add 2 on the bottom. So the 3 on the top, let's sketch one rectangle, let's sketch one roughly around where the middle is, and we'll sketch another on this side, and then underneath we'll repeat very much what we did last time with our larger rectangles, our larger square cutouts. Okay, so now what we need to do is dimension all of this. So I'm going to zoom in even further, make life easy. Set the dimension tool. Let's get this side and this side measured, and we want to change that to be 4. We want to repeat that on the right hand side. So there we go. We've now got a measurement of 4. We want the width of each of these to be 7.2. So let's measure 7.2 and 7.2. As we are currently dimensioning these, let's make the height of these correct as well. So let's pick the top and the bottom, and let's change that to be 6. And we'll do the same on the opposite side, like so. Now we need to look at our top rectangles. So, first of all, this rectangle here needs to be 3.5 in width. So we'll measure that one and we'll change that one to be 3.5. That's the same with the other two. So let's do that now. Okay, so we've now got all 3 that are correct. We now need to measure this line here in the middle of our rectangle to the left-hand edge, and as we did before, we need to change that one to be 32.25, which centers this rectangle. Now what we need to do is just make sure that these two, either side, are the correct distance from the middle one. So I'm going to pick the left edge here and the right edge of this one, apologies, and the left edge of this one. And we want the distance of those two to be 9.5. We need to repeat that on this side. So the right hand side of the middle rectangle and the left hand side of this rectangle, and change that one to be 9.5. The last thing that we need to do is make a measurement from the bottom of this to the top of this line. So from this one to this one. And that measurement needs to be 4.8 millimeters. And now I need to repeat that for the other two. So as you can see, these are quite deep cuts heading towards the bottom of my piece. The only other measurement that we need to double check is then the height of this line to the top of our work. So let's just click on this line, and this measurement needs to be 3.2 millimeters, which now looks correct. So I'll zoom to my trim tool, and now I need to cut away the lines that I don't need. So let's chop away. And the nice thing is that when you cut the lines away, the shading changes so you can see what you're left with. Let's do the bit at the bottom. repeat on this side, which gives us our shape. Let's accept. Let's spin round in 3D. Let's extrude our shape to a distance of 3.5 and accept our work.